What's up, explorers? It's Adam Carroll,
Nick Durr, and here at Mastery of Money, we're committed to you focusing on money now,
so you don't have to worry about the money later. In today's episode, we're answering the question that we get all the time on college campuses: should I use my savings for tuition? We've got a few tips for you that will help you make that decision yourself.
All right, so we have 3 tips for you. Number 1, you first have to ask yourself, what was the savings there originally for?
Right.
Like, what was the intention? Was it to actually buy a car? Was it for tuition? You actually have to look at, what other goals you had.
Exactly. The question that I always get when I'm on a college campus around this, should I use my savings for tuition, somehow goes back to how much savings do they need in their account to feel safe and secure at any given point in time. So that's one of the questions you need to answer. Not just what is it for, but how much do you need there to make yourself feel safe and secure at any given point in time. For some students, that's a couple $100. For some, it might be $2,000 or $5,000. So understand first and foremost, what was the money originally saved for? And if you're using that for tuition, great. If it's used for travel or for a new car or for buying a house down the road, just be very mindful of what that savings is there for in the very first place.
Number 2 is to consider student loans. Now, I know that this one might ruffle a little feathers, but one thing to consider is that student loan debt is typically cheaper debt.
It is.
Now, when I say cheaper debt, I think the average student loan rate is anywhere between 4 to 7%. Now, when you compare it to credit card interest rates, you're looking anywhere between 14, 22, 25%.
5%, yeah, exactly.
So if you're looking at the cost of borrowing money, student loans can be a more affordable option. Now again, we say this with the caveat and wait till the end of the video so you can find out why. But going back to our first point around making sure you have money in savings to feel safe and secure, if you need $2,000 to feel safe and secure and that's how much you have in your savings, then looking into student loans might actually be a value to you, so that way you're not using the savings for tuition.
It might be advantageous. Keep in mind as well that student loans come in a variety of different forms. The federal loans that you can take out on an annual basis come in subsidized and unsubsidized loans. So a subsidized loan is not charging you any interest on a monthly basis after you pull that money out. In some cases, a subsidized loan, if it's available to you, can be a great alternative to leveraging your savings in paying tuition, because essentially, it's kind of like you're borrowing money for free while you're in school. Once you start paying it back, they'll be charging interest. But while you're in school, there's no interest charged to that. Unsubsidized loans do accrue interest the minute you start leveraging that money. So know that if you've borrowed $2,000 in a semester, at the end of that semester, it's going to be $2,000 plus whatever interest has accrued during that period of time. So keep in mind that whatever kind of student loan you're looking at will have to factor into that decision.
And we also have a video, so check out this link, around creative ways to pay for college. So remember, student loans aren't the only way that you can actually pay for college, but there are some creative ways too.
The third tip is perhaps you consider using that savings account for a side hustle, if that side hustle is going to help you make more money. And in a past video, one we have right here, we talked about investing in a gumball machine as an example to help create passive income that might help you create some cash flow to pay for tuition. So if you've got a side hustle in mind, and just as an example, maybe you've had your eye on a particular DSLR camera, and if that camera is going to help you either build a YouTube channel or take photographs at a wedding or graduation photos that help you make extra scratch, consider using that savings account for that side hustle. But here's the thing, we want to make sure that side hustle is going to make you money. It's not about using that savings for something, right? Clothes or food or trips or whatever, but it's something that can actually make you money and help you pay for school. So those are the 3 tips that we have on today's video. Keep in mind the goal is to graduate with the least amount of debt as possible. So if you are considering using your savings for tuition versus something else, just know that the goal at the end of the day is when you graduate from school, you have less loans than you thought you might have at the get-go. So keep that in mind as we move forward.
Now, if you want to take your finances to the next level and elevate your money mindset, check out these videos here.
And remember to click subscribe while you're down there so that you're reminded every time We put out new content on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We will see you next time, and remember, bag that baguette.